Alright, we're back. Hello everyone. We are about to turn in this quest here for patch 5.3 to be done. Ah, you're back. Tell me, Miro, do you think I was excessively familiar earlier? In my tone and mannerism? I thought it better to be familiar than formal if we are to be comrades, but now I worry it may have detracted from the gratitude and respect I harbor for everyone. Perhaps we might consider it a nod to my regrettably less than humble beginnings? Yes, that will do. Being free to live as one pleases is not without its challenges. In a way, it was easier when I had a mission that consumed my every waking moment. It provided me with a focus and constant push in a singular direction. By the way, was casting spells always so draining? I had quite forgotten what it was like to do it without the tower. I've rarely felt so exhausted or hungry. Yet, if all I did was bend the bow, I would be of limited use to you on your adventures, so I shall persevere. Whoever I might have been before, I am now a scion, and an inexperienced scion at that, a green initiate, eager to learn how best to contribute to the cause, that he might follow in the footsteps of his inspiration. We did it, team! G'raha is now available as a trust companion. Hope's Legacy. Alright. Hang on. We got an achievement, Shepherd to the Stars. Alright, so now everything we do from here on is we've resolved everything on the first for the most part, with requests, with the exception of some side quests, which I will do at a different point. Alisaie's quest. Now we're going on to patch 5.4, and this is all leading up to Endwalker now. Oh, greetings, Miro. Come to look in on our friends. Rest assured, everyone is quite well. I've been keeping a close eye on them and have satisfied myself that they are in fine health. As a matter of fact, they're just about to convene in Dawn's Respite to discuss how to use their pent-up energy. Let's join them, shall we? So I mentioned that Xenos was made to represent a very specific section of the player base. Jeremy asks, is it people who are also
my friends,
remains? Yes.
Now that we have all settled back into our bodies, it is time we resumed our duties in earnest. Let us speak of our plans.
Ever since the Emperor's death, it's been one unsettling rumor after another. I have a mind to pay a visit to Garlemald to ascertain the truth of the matter.
A prudent endeavor. 'Tis of the essence that we establish the full extent of the threat, not least if it should prove that Xenos doth indeed orchestrate events from the shadows. In light of which possibility, I shall accompany thee on thy mission. Be assured that thou shalt find me more a help than a hindrance. Thou requirest another to imbue thine ammunition, dost thou not?
Assuming that's settled, there's something I've been meaning to look into as well.
Welcome back, everyone!
Lise!
You're fine now, right? No more headaches or keeling over?
That's right. We're fighting fit and raring to go.
The famous Lise Hext, former scion and hero of the Allagan resistance.
I don't believe we've met.
Really? It's so easy to assume that all Archons are acquainted. But then I suppose your fields of expertise are rather different.
G'raha at your service. I have read much and more about your exploits, Commander. It is a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance.
Likewise. The others told me all about you.
Do not be so sure. Words scarcely do justice to the vital role he played in our victory in the first. A more dependable comrade one would be hard-pressed to find.
Oh, right. I did glance at the report. But I'd be lying if I said I understood half of it. Well, that's a lot to take in. Just to be clear, this means we're not heading for another calamity, does it?
Shorn of their unsundered master's leadership, what Ascians remain shall struggle to see their plans to fruition. And though I would ever advise caution, I believe we may rest easy for a time.
I'll take that as a yes. Even so, I don't know what to make of this business about Hydaelyn and Zodiac being primals.
A difficult truth to bear, yes. But at last we understand the nature of our adversary. And if there are no further calamities, neither will there be rejoinings, meaning Zodiac will never regain his full strength. Even so, as the oldest and mightiest of primals, he remains a force to be feared. Though his is a power born of the desire for salvation, we have seen the havoc it may wreak, and it falls to us to ensure that it is never again brought to bear upon this star.
But tell us, Lys, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit?
What do you mean? Isn't seeing my long-lost comrades reason enough? All right, there was one other matter. I have a message from the Alliance, and before you ask, yes, it's about the Empire. So, after Emperor Varys' assassination, it seems his cousin Nerva made a bid for the throne. The trouble is, he wasn't the only one with designs on it, and it didn't take long for a civil war to break out. And it's not just in the provinces. Early reports say huge swathes of the Imperial capital have been reduced to rubble. The Alliance will soon convene in Alamigo to decide on a course of action, and we were hoping you'd come along.
Well, as it happens, Urianger and I were just this moment planning a little trip to Garlemald, and we should be grateful for any advice the Alliance can provide on how best to make the most of our visit.
To Alamigo, then.
Why don't you go on without me? There's something I need to look into.
Ah, forgive me. You were just telling us. What is it, if I may ask?
I want to find a way to cure the tempered.
Of course. You think it may be possible to adapt the treatment you use to help those corrupted by the Sin Eaters?
I'm sorry, a cure for tempering? But that would change everything. Alisaie, consider yourself uninvited. Go and find us this cure.
I'll do my best. I was hoping you might join me. Don't worry if not, though. I won't hold it against you if you'd rather attend a stuffy meeting.
What meeting? Lead on.
I knew you'd say yes.
I'll come too. If you don't mind, that is.
Mind? I'm sure they would be glad of your company. Pray, enjoy your time together with your hero.
No. That's not... I mean, I simply thought my knowledge might be of some use.
We shall be on our way then. Godspeed.
Alright. Hey there, G'raha. When he still lives about, one cannot even afford even the slightest slip. Don't worry, I can say with complete confidence that G'raha is dressed for anything. Sorry, why are you standing like that? When I set out to save Harik, I think Gabu was always at the back of my mind. And having proved that the light corrupted are not lost, I'm convinced that the same must be true of the tempered. Similar to those corrupted by the Sin Eaters, the ether of Gabu's soul has been rendered stagnant. And though the root cause is different, perhaps the solution is the same. It is by no means an unreasonable hypothesis, Alisaie, and it warrants full investigation. If there's even a chance we can save Gabu, we have to try, but however much I'd like to race over to Limsa and set to work, there's no room for recklessness, not when a child's life is at stake. As I'm sure Becklick would remind us, we know precious little and less about the soul. Any number of things could go wrong if we don't exercise due caution. And so, before attempting anything, we should learn all we possibly can about tempering. There's just one problem. Research into the condition has long since ground to a halt, and the combined work of many scholars involved doesn't exactly amount to a wealth of knowledge. Not of the modern scholars, perhaps, but what of their ancient counterparts? I know the Allagans took a more than passing interest in the subject. What if we seek, and if what we seek is to be found anywhere, it would surely be at the Etherical Research Facility. Well, they experimented on primals and their worshippers, yes? Where they experimented on primals and their worshippers, yes? Good thinking. I've never actually been there myself, but I did read the reports on Azys Lla, which means we'll be needing an airship. An airship, you say? Meet me at the northern bank of Silvertree Lake. I've got a little surprise for you. Oh, and come prepared to travel. Jeremy, are you ever prepared to travel? Tara stole the airship from Sid. She also stole Sid. She tied him up and he's in the hold on the airship. He survives off scraps of bread crust that she tossed down there. Why does she keep changing her outfits? The Tara, the lady of many outfits. I give you the Bonanza, the Scion's very own airship. I built her as a company project with help from our friends at the Rising Stones, and named her for luck and prosperity. Tatara, this is amazing! We'll be able to fly just about anywhere we want. Our garments were impressive enough, but to build an entire airship, I see the annals did not exaggerate the many talents of the Scion's fabled coin keeper. I'd also introduced myself as your pilot, except her training didn't go as well as I'd hoped. But that's alright. Because we've hired this capable fellow here instead. The Bonanza is equipped with a full complement of mana cutters, by the way. Feel free to use them to get around Azys Lla. But enough talk, it's time to fly. All aboard! This airship's gonna crash within like the first 8 seconds, though. They can't afford to let us have our own ship. Honestly, Sita would be jealous of the way that airship flies. Tataru has outdone herself. Anyway, we're here in Azys Lla. Alphinaud's report did not do the scale of this place justice. But this is where you had your reckoning with Thornton. I wish I'd been there with you. This appears to be the Helix, which means we stand in the Alpha Quadrant. To the east lies the Beta Quadrant, and we should be used to Beta Quadrant, G'raha. Yes, I believe I have my bearings. Though this is my first time on Azys Lla, I do have some familiarity with the place thanks to the records of the Crystal Tower. Unless I'm mistaken, this path leads to the Aetherite, beyond which there would be information terminal. I suggest we begin our search there. While you were gone, I built this perpetual motion device. Infinite energy seemed like a fun project. Is it wise to let the treasurer spend all the Scion's money on her own lessons? It's to stop Alphinaud from spending the Scion's monies on swords. I guess. I'm fairly certain my employer would be upset if I spent all their money on private lessons for myself. First they'd have questions like, how did you get access to our money? And then they would have questions, why are you in my house? Because that's where the conversation would be taking place. Because I'll have broken into their house. Time for our authority on Allagan artifacts to show what he can do. And here's the terminal. A moment while I search the archives for references to tempering. Ah, there we are. Man, I wish I could just hold my hand up to my computer and have it do the things that I want it to do. Iconic corruption, an overview. That sounds promising. Indeed. Let's see what this report has to say. Confound it. The content appears to have been deleted. What? No! Isn't there something you can do? Not from here, I'm afraid. But it may be that another copy of the report exists elsewhere. The question is, where to look? It says here the report was written by someone named Owen. Is it likely that he kept a copy? I would say it is a distinct possibility, assuming he was a researcher here. He will have had quarters in the Habisphere. We can ascertain the details at the Habisphere control. Let us return to the Bonanza and avail ourselves of the mana cutters. We will need them to reach our destination. I forgot, you already have a suitable means of transport, don't you? You don't need to waste time accompanying us back to the ship, then. We'll see you at the Habisphere. What's gonna happen is you're gonna return to the Rising Stone with the airship Tataru built. We'll pretend, just pretend the airship no longer exists, like the Link Pearls. Probably. More than likely, we'll return to the Rising Stones, and it'll have been completely rebuilt from the ground up, Tataru having recreated it in her image. Literally, the Rising Stones is just going to be a gigantic Tataru statue. All the doors are cutaways of Tataru. All the food within is made in Tataru's image. I would say games tend to forget about important things quite often, and I'm not sure it's entirely accidental. Like, for example, in World of Warcraft, in Legion, they gave the Alliance access to a fucking spaceship that can nuke from orbit, and then they conveniently forgot that they had that airship in Battle for Azeroth. mana cutters appear to be ironworks made, but I dare say Tataru will craft her own soon enough. If the late Owen did indeed have a chamber here, this node will be able to tell us its number. Tataru's gonna turn the Rising Suns into the FC house, but with herself instead of Pisces. It's true. Oh, speaking of Pisces, remind me, after this cutscene I have something to tell you lore-wise. There, from what I recall of the layout, it should be somewhere in the vicinity of... Warning, an evacuation order is presently in effect. Entry to the Hemisphere is not permitted at this time. Oh, foiled again. In all likelihood, the order would have been imposed during the Fourth Umbral Calamity. I doubt it will have been lifted in the near future. Energy level critical. Returning to base for recharging. Well, surely there must be a way, some other way to gain access. Force, for example? Ere we resort to that, I have an idea. Were we to send a surge of energy through yonder control mechanism, it should prompt the system to restart, releasing the locks. As for a suitable energy source, a concentrated lightning shard might suffice. Happily, I seem to recall that they are known to form at points of stagnant ether throughout the continent. You seem to recall? Are you honestly telling me that this was in the records too? I am. A report sent to the capital mentioned that the lightning aspect of the ether was prone to pooling on the continent, resulting in surges that interfere with the equipment. A minor detail, I grant you, but in my role as caretaker of the Crystal Tower, there was no such thing as too much Allagan knowledge. Besides, my studies helped me to feel connected to the source, to home. I must have explored this facility 1,000 times in my mind. To finally stand here with the two of you, it is more exhilarating than I can express. Now then, the lightning shard, if I may. I suggest we split up and search the Beta Quadrant. Oh, and beware of sprites. They are wont to manifest where the ether is stagnant. Now you're just showing off. This makes me think that we should make a contest of this. The first to return here with the shard wins. What do you say? Very well. It will be my honor to come third. G'raha thinks he can last longer than the two of us. I guess. No, he can't. He's a beta. I have only seen one reference to the final days in the new expansion via the Mage class quest, and the Tuliol NPC company literally didn't react at all. That frustrates me greatly. But we haven't gotten to the final days yet, so let's hold off on any further discussion on that. But just know, X, that my frustration on that topic is high. Stagnant lightning. Okay, so guys, Pisces. I recently found out that in FF14 lore, Vanu keep Pisces as pets. But they also train Pisces to fight, like, cockfighting or dogfighting. I told Tiamat and she was not happy to hear this. By the way, I have Holy 3 and Glare 3. In case you're wondering, I never learned Holy 2. Apparently it is not a thing. So we went from Holy to Holy 3, and they've never addressed that. Bravo! That was quite a show, adventurer! Why, the spectacle proved so enthralling that all thoughts of the prize slipped my mind. I appear to have forfeited our little race. Congratulations, the lightning shard is yours. G'raha playing a trick on us. Very funny. Now let's get back to work. Remember when he did this, when we first tried to get the, Forgive me, the scene reminded me of our first meeting. I couldn't resist. That was good. Well, the contest continues, so you had better hurry back. Ah, but one last thing. Thank you, Miro, for bringing me here. Yoink! Steals our crystal, runs off. Anyway, so yeah, apparently Vanu keep Pisces for pets and train them in to do cockfighting, but through, you know, Pisces, so monkey fighting. Music in this area reminds you of Mass Effect 1. I guess I can see it. You have a shard, then you win. I searched high and low, but I couldn't find so much as a trace of stagnant ether. It appears Alisaie had no luck, so victory is yours. Congratulations! Now then, may I have the shard? Alright, Vector. What is it with you that makes you so much better at finding things? What do you have that I don't? A map that tells me where things are. This is a question I too have asked myself on numerous occasions. I suspect we could both learn a great deal from Miro, not only about the secrets of adventuring, but come, we should attend to our mission. They didn't want to animate that. Or that. Excellent. The system responded exactly as intended. We now have access to the Hemisphere. Only one obstacle remains, the security systems within. Should they be triggered, they could make life rather difficult for us. In light of which, pray leave the rest to me. If I am right, my royal blood should allow me to venture in unmolested. Assuming this place works like the Crystal Tower, yes, but if it doesn't, you'll be on your own. I want you to promise us that you'll get out at the first sign of trouble. I promise. Wish me luck. Did he just imply they could learn the secrets of calm from Miro? The fucking perv. Well, he probably needs to learn those secrets from any person, given that he's not allowed to. Well, nothing for it but to sit tight. I remember that spot. They wouldn't let me pee there, it was weird. I'm sure this Owen fellow was very learned, but the iconic corruption and overview sounds like a studium thesis. We all had to write one. Lest you wonder, mine was about the combat applications of ether. I'm nothing if not practical. Alphanos was more philosophical, of course. Political, dare I say it. He chose to write a lengthy discourse on our nation's duty to the world. A controversial subject, to say the least. He asserted that Charlian's knowledge should rightly be used to protect all life on the star, in direct opposition to the country's cherished policy of non-intervention. Being a leading member of the Forum, our father was not happy. At the time, of course, Alphina was utterly convinced of his views and would cheerfully argue to the death with anyone who saw things differently. By which I mean, the rows were long. To be fair to him, though, he's since learned to be a little more open-minded, but deep down he still holds fast to that one belief, and I admire him for it. You find out that Owen is actually a fucking moron. I should have liked to meet young Alphino. For what it's worth, my thesis concerned the Allagan civilization as depicted in folklore. Well, you're back. I didn't know you attended the studium. I didn't. A thesis was required to earn my Archon's mark. My peers at the Students of Baldessian convinced me to write one with the promise of unfettered access to forbidden tomes. Though I consider it no more than a means to an end at the time, I will admit it was gratifying to have my efforts acknowledged. Good gods, an Archon's thesis. I shudder to imagine the work involved. But enough about that. Is this the fruit of your foray? Yes, Owen's archive node. It was waiting for me in his chamber. If a copy of his report still exists, it should be stored on this device. Shall we find out? Initializing. Scanning for registered user. User not found. To proceed as guest, please complete biometric authentication. Verifying. Boop. Authorization complete. Guest identified as member of the royal family. I am at your most humble service, Your Highness. It never ceases to amuse me. 'Tis but a pity that the effect will not last forever. Doga and Une said as much when they granted me this gift, but until such time as it fades, I shall use it gratefully. Search archive for iconic corruption. Searching. One item found. Iconic corruption. An overview. The report is locked by the author. Please state password. Well, go on then, Your Highness. Tell the nice node the password. Yeah, right. Let's see. Glory be to Allagan. Long live Emperor Zand. Password incorrect. Please try again. Found it! Come now, passwords are invariably short and simple. For instance... Password! The notion that the password could be something so inane would be laughable were it not dangerously stupid. Furthermore, your conduct in the presence of His Highness is grossly inappropriate. Know your place, handmaiden. What did this thing just call me? Wild Rose. Courage. Password incorrect. Again, be warned that any further inappropriate behavior in the presence of His Highness will not be tolerated. Alright, that's it. I say we dismantle it and manually extract what we need. Now, let's not be too hasty. A single misstep and we risk losing the report altogether. I believe this may be a task for Sid and his colleagues. If anyone can coax the machine into cooperating, it is them. Come, let us bear the node back to the Rising Stones. Calls her fucking handmaiden. Rude. Jeremy, do you drink Taiyaki? Like, do you, like, liquidize it in a blender and then drink it? Reviving the legacy. Oh shit, I should probably go on break now. I should probably mention that I have yet to meet Sid since waking up. Brambos did send word to the Ironworks, but it appears our friend has been afield on urgent business. Nevertheless, I assure you my proposal to seek his help is no pretext. However much I might look forward to seeing him again, him and everyone. But come, let us be on our way. Alright. Do you think Daryl could hoop that node? Look at him, all but running. How sweet. Still, wouldn't do to keep him waiting, shall we? Alright, ladies and gents, we're gonna take a break. We still got about an hour and a half left to stream. Hour and a half, one of the two. Alright, don't go anywhere, guys.